Now, I already know what you're thinking. You saw the title of the video, and now see me standing in what, at best, you know is Fuel from Modern Warfare 2, and at worst, you don't recognize at all. And you're thinking, is this really the biggest Call of Duty map in franchise history? And the answer is, well, kind of. See, if we're talking about strictly core 6v6 normal old maps here, there are technically some maps that are indeed bigger. And some old heads might point to maps like Outskirts or CeeLo from World at War. And in that case, you would absolutely 100% be correct. Great job. I'm proud of you, son. I thought maybe that last one you might need to hear. And in fact, while doing my admittedly flawed measurements of running from end to end on each map to get a grasp on relative scale in each game, those two maps take a full minute from spawn to spawn, compared to Fuel's measly 40 seconds. But the flag that I'm throwing on the play is that those two World at War maps were designed around tanks, which completely altered not only navigating the map itself, but the actual core gameplay of it too. So it's a bit of a gray area here that I'm going to take advantage of, because if I could pull back the curtain for a minute, I just desperately want to talk about Fuel for 10 minutes. Although again, to be fair, another disclaimer right off the bat is that even within MW2, Fuel is also rivaled by Wasteland and Derail for the coveted Colossal Crown. But to me, Fuel always felt so much larger when playing. And despite Wasteland, you know, looking like this. And that's because if you actually look around here, it's just nothingness. It's a big open wasteland. Pun not only intended, but highlighted. And then there's Derail, which definitely does have some buildings and interesting areas to roam, but it's still a ton of dead air that's only meant to be sniped across. But on the other hand, Fuel is dense. I mean, the TAC map looks like someone dropped a box of Legos on an atlas. It has 6 fully realized main buildings, many of which have 3 stories worth of rooms and corridors, plus an entire desert side that alone would give a lot of modern day maps an inferiority complex. It's the kind of map that just keeps going and 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 going, and at some point you're gonna cut me off, right? But what really makes this map feel so much bigger than the others is the verticality. Because like I mentioned, almost every building has 3 stories and or roof access, meaning that just like everyone above 6 feet, most of its heft comes from just being too damn tall. And while you could play this map in 9v9 ground war playlists, it was also available in regular 6v6 rotation, same as every other map, which made the search for even a single other person on the enemy team the hardest Easter egg hunt since that year that my mom just forgot. Not about Easter, about me. Now, for the sake of giving this video a little bit of texture, I'm gonna split this map right in half down the middle and talk about each one separately. First is what I call the industry side. Some other people might have different names for it. It's the one with the fucking buildings. And there's a few notable locations within this half that I wanted to highlight really quick. Like the main alley in the direct center. That's the beating heart of this behemoth. And was always a good spot to go to catch your breath and try to figure out which direction might have something going on. Then there's this section over here with all the tanks that for some reason really sticks out in my memory as like a major place. And that's probably just because I was mostly an SMG guy back in the day, and that this was the closest quarter spot on the map, where we would all be forced to congregate. You know, think of it like Storage Town, or your mom's house, where everybody looking for some quick action would just gravitate toward it, because it was the easiest one to come by. And that section connects up to what I would call the control room, which was the map's biggest power position, with 3 windows giving you a good look at most of the map. And then opposite that building was the warehouse, which could also honestly be its own map in modern day. I mean, it's basically just Garrison, but tall, with the main level featuring plenty of cover and an upstairs catwalk with a minimal cover. It's also missing like a certain level of detail that, you know, I know that this game is over a decade old, but what even is this room supposed to be? It's almost like it's an airlock, but for what? Like, it just leads to a catwalk in both directions. A catwalk, by the way, that I don't even know the purpose of because it doesn't go anywhere except for this airlock. Then you've got the office, which is 2 stories with roof access. And to get there, you first have to climb a staircase that not only doesn't have a handrail, but is also open to the courtyard on the other end. So you can easily just fall on in. But what's worse is that once you make it to the roof itself, that same courtyard isn't sealed off with a window or anything. So the office is just open to the elements at all times. Like that can't be OSHA approved, right? So I also have written in here that I'm supposed to now improv a joke about the office needing those suicide net things, but quote, only if the vibe's not too dark. I don't know how to make that not. Don't kill yourself, kids. Then that makes the other half of this map the desert side, which is mostly open and made for picking off poor souls who got lost on their way into work, with Pride Rock here being the main power position on this side, meaning that if you spawn on the other end, you just have to avoid this half of the map like the plague, which, to be fair, you already should have been doing anyway, because this map is probably best known for the infamous rock glitch, which saw kids who had no friends phasing inside of this here boulder and shooting at people while being both invisible and invincible. Although thankfully this was later fixed in a rare MW2 patch, but the damage was already done. And when combined with the map's size, that made Fuel an almost instant skip for a lot of people back in the day. But was I one of those people? I got no fucking idea, dude. For some reason, Fuel is like this tentpole in my mind. And not just because of the scale, right? Because as I mentioned earlier, MW2 had a handful of maps in this same league. But for some reason, I have this like core memory of being sick from school, scarfing down bagel bites, listening to Hollywood Undead, and watching Woody's gamertag videos while playing Fuel on my shitty square TV mounted above my childhood bed. And to this day, I don't know if it's a good memory or a bad memory. It just kinda is. But apparently I'm alone in this, because when doing research for this video, I found a surprising amount of people who just forgot this map even existed, which is crazy to me because this has lived rent-free in my head for 10, 12, 15 fucking years, and I don't know why. Maybe it's the paradox of it all. It's a sniping map that isn't great for sniping. It's a huge map that feels more tall than it does wide. Something about walking through this thing doesn't even feel like COD. It's like a Battlefield 3 map that got shipped to the wrong address. Its game-breaking glitch is more iconic than the level itself. It's the biggest joke of a map in a DLC with a fucking fun house in it. But yet its Wikipedia page is one of the most bare and empty of any COD map, despite being part of the late, great Modern Warfare 2. So as I sit there, nearing 3 o'clock in the morning, staring at the drab and boring trivia section for a map that, for all its faults, is far from drab and boring, I realized I have a YouTube channel. If I want people to remember and talk about this map, then I'm going to make them remember and talk about this map. So, Mr. Pedia, I've got some suggestions for your little fun fact section, if you don't mind. Fact 1. The gas company, whose logo can be seen spattered across the map, is CompuCorp, which is likely a reference to Homestar Runner. And if you don't know what that is, Just go ask your dad about his favorite web series and he'll tell you. And that company, by the way, appears to employ at least 20 office workers, judging by the number of desks found around the facility, which I'm pretty sure is more people than what Infinity Ward had at the time of this map's release. Fact 2. Despite being set in a disgusting vat of cookie dough that the game insultingly calls Egypt, and all other signage in the facility being in English, there is a warning sign in the basement written out in Russian, cautioning those who speak it to wear protective gear. This is a subtle reference to the fact that this game was from a time when composite cables were all the rage, and no one thought we'd ever see these textures in HD. And finally, fact 3. Even though this map is named Fuel and is littered with oil drums everywhere, there are exactly 0 explosive red barrels and only a single propane tank to blow up, which ironically makes this map the most eco-friendly in the game. So, if anyone has any idea how to edit Wikipedia, please just go ahead and add those to the page. It's been a lifelong dream of mine for a long time to be one of those little reference numbers, and I don't know, maybe it'll help this video in the algorithm. Who the hell knows? Hey, and speaking of helping with the algorithm, be sure to smash that like button like it's 2010 again, and let me know if you actually remember Fuel, or if there is a gas leak in here, and I've made all of this up. And of course, as always, thank you so much to my channel members. Their names are listed everywhere all around me. Ooh, follow me on Twitter. I don't have nearly enough followers on Twitter. I told someone that I'd get to 1 million this year, which sounds like a lot, but if you hit the follow button and then told 10 of your friends to hit the follow button and then 10 of their friends to hit the follow button, it would only take like 10 times of that. It would only take 10 people. Come on. We can do it. Am I okay? I think there is a gas leak.